Welcome, ladies and gents. This will be my review slash chit chat of They Cloned Tyrone. So, break it down, the cast, and then we'll talk about how good they were or how bad they were. Side note, I actually really enjoyed this film, and I thought they all did a bloody good job. So, Jamie Foxx plays a pimp called Slick Charles. John Boyega plays Fontaine and Tyrone, among others. And Teyonah Parris plays a hoe, Yo-Yo, who works for Jamie Foxx's pimp, Slick Charles. I'm looking at the name now, just going, God damn, that's hilarious. Okay, so this is a Netflix film, and it is unusually tight. So Netflix films are not normally as well paced as this, and I think that's really important to point out. Normally, they have just sloppy editing. And I don't know what it is. Screenplays by Jewel Taylor, Tony Rattenmeyer, and it's directed by Jewel Taylor. I don't know whether this was produced by Netflix or they've just decided to distribute it and bought it. But whoever did the editing on this, they did a really, really good job, because this is a very, very tight film for what it is. Sound mixing's not good, though. I found myself, as with most Netflix things, and I've got like a Sonos surround sound, turning it down. There's this particular scene, and if you've seen it, you know what I mean, where there's a heavy subwoofer that comes in. Because the audio track was so low, I had to have it quite high up anyway, and then when that sub came in, it shook my house. So not great on the sound mixing. Not great on the sound mixing. So what's the story? Well, you follow Fontaine, who lives in the hood. That's the only way to describe it, because it's supposed to be that. And he's a drug dealer. And there's like an inter-gang warfare kind of thing going on. Beef, as it were. And this is... We're talking full spoilers. We're just talking about the film. So click off now. This is your spoiler warning. Sorry if you've got this far. Should have done it at the start. I do apologise. But if you're going to click off anyway, just watch the film. It's pretty decent. Anyway, there's an inter-gang beef, and he gets killed. And you're like, oh, okay. And then he wakes up again. You're like, what? I mean, the clue's in the name. They clone Tyrone. The spoiler is that he's Tyrone, or he's not. Someone else is called Tyrone. But it's him. It's the same body. It's John Boyega, basically. Now... From there, Slick Charles, Jamie Foxx, who does an impeccable job of comedic timing. He's very, very good in this. Very, very good. Still got the comedic timing. Needs to do more comedy, quite frankly. I think he's great. Because John Boyega's character just wakes up as if it's Groundhog Day, and that is actually what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a Groundhog Day scenario. But it's not the case. He wakes up and goes to Slick Charles. Slick Charles is like, what the fuck, you're a ghost, you're haunting me now. And he's like, what are you talking about? Give me my money. And so on and so forth. He discovers he's a clone, basically. And the whole narrative of this is that essentially this town, this hood, this ghetto, whatever you want to call it, it's a deprived town, right? That's what it is. Predominantly, 99% of people are all black in it. And there's a reason why that is the case. And that's the reason why I'm saying it's a ghetto, it's the hood, it's a deprived area. It's what it's supposed to represent. They're running tests on everyone, basically. And experiments. And it's all for social cohesion. Now, it's a really interesting concept, isn't it? Social cohesion. Multiculturalism. I mean, it's almost unintentionally based to a degree. Because it goes to show that it sort of hangs a lantern on multiculturalism as something which, can coexist, but also can't to a certain degree. And I thought that was quite interesting because, multiculturalism is a big thing in this day and age. But that's looking at it through a very American one-note lens, i.e. black and white. And anyway, this company, presumably the government, is essentially hinted at. Its right-hand man is Kiefer Sutherland, so that was great. He's just a boss, he's a don. Loved him ever since Dark City. This company's running experiments trying to get social cohesion. And in effect, they keep cloning people. And the end goal is essentially assimilation. Basically, they're going to turn black people white. This is the very end of the film. But I thought it was just an interesting watch. And I think they gave just enough of all of that flair without going ham-fisted or two balls to the wall. And it was revealed at just the right times to make you go, oh, this is interesting. It wasn't preachy either. It's just more, this is an interesting concept. What would people do to get cohesion and acceptance of two different cultural aspects, or sects and groups, that sort of thing. Not sex, sects, sects. Anyway, and I just thought that was really interesting. I really liked it. The music was good. The cars in this, and a weird thing to point out, but they're all driving really cool old retro American cars, and they are epic. They're immaculate. They're beautiful. The set design's great. Everything's really good in this. Like, it's a very good film for a Netflix film. But the one thing which lets it down is that sound design. Now, I do feel it may come across very heavy-handed for some people. But I think if you just take a step back and enjoy it for what it is, I think you guys will like it. And I like the message at the end, which was basically, in effect, that you just we have to start looking after ourselves, right? And that's the thing, right? So you can look at it from multiple aspects. Because I know there's certain people that watch my channel that will be triggered by the fact that it's a message about social cohesion and assimilation, and they're saying everyone's racist. It's not the case, because you can actually look at it from a different aspect of they're actually telling people in deprived areas to start cleaning themselves up, because John Boyega's character, a drug dealer, has to realise that he's part of the problem, and he has to make the place better. So I actually really think that is one of the be-all and end-all messages there. Same with the prostitute, the hoe, and the pimp. They all realise that they are parts of the problem. So I liked it. I thought it was just a good, tight, fun film. It's funny. It's a decent film. For a Netflix film, this is great. So if you've seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have a different perspective of mine, has my perspective shone a light on something which maybe you missed? I don't know. We all interpret films in a different manner. But that's the way I interpreted this film. Film is subjective, of course. I'm sure there's people that heavily dislike this film. I had a good time with it, and I would recommend it. If you're new here, do it, subscribe, give the video a like and a share. I've been Mr. H. Take care. Bye-bye now.